Hello, it's T, and welcome to my channel. I'm a little bit frazzled and I'm having to shift gears here. So, this video was intended to be a process video using some old journals from my stash. I had three of these guys, and I deconstructed it. I put it back together again, and I created some great ephemera to go in these little journals. And then when I was transferring the video, I accidentally deleted it. So it's all gone. I've shed a few tears. I put my big girl panties on. I made a fresh cup of coffee with some Cool Whip, and I'm just going to make this work. So instead of taking you through the process of how I made this exact journal using this, because I know that this is an old product. As a matter of fact, I think that you can only get these now from eBay is where I was able to find any now. I purchased these probably in 2008, 2009 at one of the big box stores. I'm not sure which one, but it was either a Michael's, Joann's, or a Hobby Lobby. And this is a Darice Craft Designer High Quality Essentials for Crafting. It is a 6x6 paper mache journal. It was very, very basic. And like I said, I picked up three of these guys. So let's address the elephant in the room. This is not pretty. Like I said, it was never intended to be on camera. It has been on my shelf taunting me for the better part of a decade. This is something I created when I first started doing altered books and journals because it was super easy. At this time, binding was really an issue for me that I had to move past very quickly. I was stressed about the whole creating holes and stitching things in and everything. At that point in time, everything had to line up and be perfect, and I'm over that now. I've grown past that. But the stitching and the sewing in of signatures just really intimidated me at the time. And so this was something that I could do that was super easy. And so I picked up some of these books. I did this one and I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And I put it on my shelf and I thought, well, I'll come back to it eventually. And now, 15 years later, here we are. So again, you can tell that I'm brand new at this. I don't even know what's going on here. It's a hot mess. I didn't even ink all the way around these little torn edges. I don't know what this is. It's not even a tuck spot. I don't know how it related to anything on here. It was just, yeah, it was just tossed on. And then, even though I have 1,000,001 stamps, I got a pen and wrote that bad boy in there. Look at that. I was committed. And you might ask yourself, is this a complete journal? No, she didn't finish it. No, I did. I did. This was all I did. It was all about the cover, and that was it. The rest of it spoke for itself, right? I didn't do the inside. I did nothing with the pages. I didn't do the back or the back cover. I did replace the ribbon with some jute because that went with it. And so anyhow, I'm going to show you how I deconstructed these using this as an example and created this journal. So let me go ahead and snip this off. And I realize that this is something that you probably don't have in your stash. Some of you might have one of these. Most of you probably do not, but I wanted to show you how to make an alternative. So at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to create this type of journal. Super simple, super easy. You can use a lot of different bases for this. This is not brand new by any means, obviously, because I'm copying it from here. But if you're new to journaling, or you just want to mix things up a little bit and do something different, this might be a good option for you, because while you don't have this paper mache journal, you've got all the tools to create something exactly like this in your stash, I'm positive. So I am going to show you, kind of walk through what I did. So this was a super simple construction. It is flat on the back. It hinges here, so it would normally be tied, and it hinges. And then these pages that are in here are this super low quality, really thin paper. And let me pop it open. So it opens all the way up. I believe it's hinged at 1 inch here. And then this is kind of your spine that holds everything together here. The pages that are in there are about 20 of them. They're super, super thin, stapled together. And what I did is I ran my box cutter right along this edge because I wanted to open it up and make it just a cover. So I opened it up. I did go ahead and gesso, and then I painted, or I gessoed, and then I used I love this stuff. It is the Deco Art Metallic Luster Gold Rush. I've used it before in other projects, but if you get it a little bit wet, then you're able to, I just took my finger and ran it along the edges here and was able to get all that really pretty gold on there. Take a look. Let me see, I turn it the right way. So I did go ahead and create these two books, and I used, the paper I used for this is this Crafter's Companion Vintage Halloween 12 by 12 paper. And I had originally intended on using the 6 by 6 paper to make this journal. I used the 12 by 12 in a previous video when I created two journals using Eileen Hull's pocket notebook journal die, or pocket notebook die. And I used these 12 by 12 papers. I made a mistake during that video though, and I took some of these 12 by 12 papers and just started cutting and cut them all at the wrong size. So I had a bunch of 6 by 12 papers that I couldn't use in that pocket notebook. So I just shifted gears and I decided to use those to create the pages of this book, or of these journals. And so I incorporated those pages along with a few of the 6 by 6. You'll notice that the images on the front are from the 6 by 6 because obviously with it being much smaller, then the images are condensed and I'm able to get more onto that cover. So let's open them up and we'll walk through just adding the ephemera and you can see what I've done. Look at the spine. You can see here that it's just tied off using some crinkle ribbon. That's all I did. It was that simple. So as I walk you through the pages, here is my box of ephemera, the things that I've already created. I'm going to go ahead and just pull these out and I'll start adding items to them as we go through. So let me pull all of that out. I was keeping it in one area so I'd be able to sort through this and put items in. So let's see. Here are my tags. Okay. A lot of this paper really just speaks for itself. So you'll notice that the book hinges here. Now I left it loose. I didn't glue it down and I didn't staple the pages together either. So I wanted it to be pretty loose. I wanted it to have a loose feel. When you're doing this type of a binding, it could have a loose feel depending on what you use to tighten these down with. So, and whether or not you actually glue your papers to your spine here, or whether or not you leave them loose like I did. It's loose, but it's not horribly loose, so I'm not really worried about it. The pages move some, but I wanted to leave them free because I wanted to be able to bulk this up if I wanted to. Also, with leaving the pages free, whoever receives this can also untie these, add more to this book, or take items out of this book. So it's really something that can be adjusted over time. So anyhow, let's get with it. And as we go along, I'll go ahead and put ephemera in here. So let's see. I put the Dead of Night. Here's this kitty cat and this cross. I love those crosses. Okay, and then we've got a tuck spot. I'm thinking, I love these guys. Look at those. I used the Tim Holtz stamps. I think I like this. It matches those, so I'm going to put that. Well, I need to glue down that corner first. Let me grab my glue. So kind of a semi flip through here. All right, we're going to put that in there and then something here. I'm going to use this tag. They're just basic. It says Wicked. Here's a bat. Let's see, what do I have? that I could put in here. Don't see that I have a ton of bat stuff. Let's come back to, well, no, because I've got a couple. Okay. What can I put in here? I could add another one of these guys. It's got some, I think I can. Yep. And it's got some pretty blue up in this corner, so that will work. And then this guy, just a little bat. This is a tuck spot there. And then a lot of these I just left plain because these pages, these papers are so pretty. I didn't want to put too much in there and ruin them. Okay. Ugh, I hate spiders. There's this little journaling card though, and that's a tuck spot there. This one right here, I'd already added. It's a flip out. Look at these, the candles and everything. And then the way it's printed, it makes it look like it really is glowing. Oh, and this is one of my favorites. So I did this little fence, and I got these, I made these little guys. So I just used, I have some nested arches, some of the nesting arches, nesting or nested, I don't know, arch dies I got from, I think it was scrapbook.com. Anyhow, I went ahead and used them, and I thought they looked like tombstones. And so I put little crosses or little bats, and then I kind of used some stickers to label them so they look like Mrs. M.E. Drury, A Sensitive Soul, The Hallowed Spot. So I kind of made them. Henry A. Potter, He Must Have Gone Crazy. So anyhow, these are, this is a little tuck area. So I'm going to add a few in here. I thought that was just really cute. Okay. Oh, and then these little pumpkins here. That is another tuck spot. Let me see. It's going to cover up those pumpkins, and that is too big. So let's see what I've got here. Oh, I've got this guy. It's a little journaling card. So I can slip that in there. And then I've got this bat. Let me see. There we go. Perfect. And then I did the crinkle ribbon in orange to the side here. Let me tie it off. And this is my closure. So it's got lots of color, lots of texture. I wanted to kind of offset those. So I used black and then orange. So that is done. And then let's go to the second one. This is the one that I actually created for you on camera. This was my prototype. This was the one that I created. I'm so bummed. Okay, so let's see. I think that I had a tag to attach on the inside of this. I have moved everything around. I guess we'll come back to it. When I find it, we'll come back to it. It looks like I am going to have a lot of ephemera left. I had a little tag to put here. It had something stamped on it. Oh, here we go. Something wicked. Let me get my... Okay, that little edge is not quite right. Looks like it didn't cut right. There we go. Let me ink this up, and then we'll put it down. It was really difficult recovering from the loss of all of the footage. So if I'm a little out of sorts, that's what it is right now. So on this one, I have the flip out. I've got a tuck spot here. Let me see if this guy will, oop, right way. He does. Okay. Look at how pretty those are. I'm missing some, oh, here we go. Here's another set of tombstones. Hallowed spot. and then a tuck spot here. I think I'm going to use another one of these guys. This one's got some bats in it, and it's a nice tombstone, so let's use that. It's a belly band. I think I want to put this in that other journal. I think I'm going to put that in the other journal, so let me set that one aside. And in this one, I am going to add that. Oh, and I did the pumpkins again. That is so pretty. I love the way that purple pops off of that. Okay. And then I'm adding the journal, or this is a tuck spot down here. I left these pumpkins, like in the other one, I left them loose. So let's put this little wicked guy. And then I'm digging. Can add this little guy. This is a tuck spot here. Look at that ghoul. Actually, I like that better. It's got some of that blue that'll be peeking out. That looks good. And then this is a tuck spot. Ugh, I hate spiders. I have severe arachnophobia. As a little girl, I grew up in Texas, and as a little girl, we had these little brown tarantulas. And I was spending the night with cousins one night, and I woke up and had a tarantula, one of those brown fuzzy tarantulas, sitting on my face. And ever since then, oh, it's giving me chills now. I can't talk about it, but I have arachnophobia. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. So we're going to move on from that page. All right. And there's a tuck spot. I think that looks good there. And then I put instead of putting them on opposite pages, I moved the other little fence back here so that it would be kind of split up. And there we go. These are old Tim Holtz magnetic dies. You need the magnetic tray. And so they were individual, and I absolutely love them. I still have those in my stash. Those are really old. They were Tim Holtz cross dies, though. Okay. Let's see what I still have. So I didn't even use any of these guys. I have a witchy here. I wonder if, I don't know. Would she look good across there? I don't know. And she's kind of puffy, so I don't know. She's on that sticker. Should we add something here? This might slip in there and get lost. Oh, I can put it there and it doesn't get lost. But I've still got so much stuff. Let's move that out. And let's put this guy in. I don't know. I can add a tab to that. I don't know. Maybe I've just got extra stuff. Maybe I don't have to use everything. Ugh. I want to, but I don't have to. That doesn't sound right, does it? Okay. I'm going to call that one done. I think it's good. I'm going to tie up the little closure. And then I've just got some ready-made ephemera pieces. Let me go back to this one though and see, because I wanted to add this little guy and see if maybe I skimped on him. Okay, we can add something here. Okay, we had a card over there, so that's, and we've already got a tag. Oh, we can put this little bat specimen in there. It's just a little journaling card. Those look good. You know what? I am going to add, I am determined to use one of these, so why not? Okay. I cut them, so let's use them. I'm going to put that right on there. And then we'll put it up in this tuck spot as well. Just nastiness. Here. There we go. I've got another, telling you all kinds of stuff. Can put that in there. Must fill all the spots. Let's see if I can get this in here. Doesn't look like I can. It's too tight. Okay. So we'll put that back in there. And then I'm going to use this guy in here too. Just a little journaling card. Well, I had wanted to. I think I tried this before, didn't I? Yeah, and it was really tall. That might be it. Well, maybe not. There we go. All right. Gonna call that one done. I really, really love this paper. It has become my favorite Halloween paper of all time now. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so let me show you how to construct your own. Let me pick up all of these. Okay, let me clean up my area and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and I found one more thing when I was picking up. I made these little dangles. I just put them on one of the little bulb pens, and this is a 13. It says spooky, and then I added a jack-o'-lantern charm to this one, and I was just pinning them to the ribbon on the closure. Not on the closure, on the binding. So it just had a little dangling element. Something a little more fun on the outside. There we go. And then this one is the 13 Wicked, and then there's a witch hat on that one. So you can see that one up close. It's cute. That was it. Okay. See, so much ephemera and stuff that I recorded and lost. Okay, enough of that. I need to move on. Okay. So now that I've shown you the completed book and we did the flip through, I'm going to show you how to use tools that you have in your stash already to make another one of these books. You don't have to have paper mache, but I know what all of you probably have is some sort of a chipboard. It can be black, it can be white, it can be this just cardboard craft color, not a problem. So I'm going to say that I cut these down. It was a 12 by 12 sheet originally. I cut it down to 6 by 6. So I just was using the same size for reference as the journals that I just did. If I say that this is my back, I'm going to leave it alone. This, I'm going to call my front. This right here on this little cutter is a scoring tool right there. So I am going to take this one and put it at the 1 inch mark because I want my, and you can make this any size that you want. If you wanted to do a 1/2 inch, or you wanted to have even a bigger, a larger spine, then you could do that as well. I like 1 inch. That just seems pretty good to me. So I went ahead and scored at the 1 inch mark. Now I'm going to kind of just fiddle with it. I'm going to bend it back and forth, just kind of loosen it up. And you can see the thickness. I don't know what it is, but because it was just random. You could probably even use maybe cardboard boxes, like product, like your spaghetti boxes or your noodle boxes, things like that would probably work, cereal boxes. Okay, so now that I have warped it a little bit and I can see that line, I'm going to put it on my cutting mat. at the 1-inch mark. I'm going to get my ruler. Any ruler or any straight edge will do. I'm going to take my X-Acto and I'm going to cut along that score line. I'm not going to apply a lot of pressure. And this is the back side. This is the inside cover of that book. This is not the cover. I'm not going to cut all the way through. I just want to cut those fibers a little bit. So I went over it about 3 times, did not cut all the way through. Now I'm going to bend it, and now you've got your hinge. So now this is the cover of your book, and you've got a nice hinge. So you can take any piece of cardboard, mat board that you have, and you can use this. You can do this technique. It'll even work on really thick chipboard. The one thing to remember though is that it's not going to lay flat. So it's only going to open, so much. And then you're going to score your sheets of paper when you put them in here. You'll line it all up. You'll punch your holes. Now, once I took these 2 books apart and they were no longer connected here, it did create a looseness of these 2 boards. So then these 2 holes here were no longer enough to keep this stable. In order to keep this book stable and to minimize movement on it, I cut additional holes up at the top and at the bottom. So there are the 2 holes there, and then my bottom and my top holes, and then that provided more stability to the book. So when you create your own, you're going to probably want to do 3 to 4 holes depending on the size. This is a 6x6. There were already 2 holes and I needed one at the top and the bottom. So it really kind of limited me as far as what I was going to be able to do. I think 4 holes on here is more than enough. 3 would get the job done. And then you can tie it off using jute, ribbon, fabric bits, probably whatever you wanted to tie it off on. Also, another thing that you could do to create some stability with it is that while I left the hinge free so it could be free to move and I wasn't warping any of the paper on either side. So the paper only goes up to the hinge line, the score line on the front and the inside of this cover. Something else that would create some stability in this is if you wanted to, if you wanted to attach them, if you wanted them to be attached, you could wrap paper over it. You could wrap fabric over this. You just want to, and then that would keep it closed. You're still going to have to find a way to attach paper. So you're still going to, your paper's inside. So you're still probably going to want to put your holes in and put some sort of a tie closure on it. But you can create some more stability so that those don't move as much by putting a covering over it. However, that's also going to limit the growth of your book. So you're not going to be able to take that apart then and continue to add things to it. Otherwise, you're going to stretch the bounds of whatever paper or fabric you use to wrap that. It's pretty much going to have to stay that size. That may not matter to you. So that is one option, just using your cardboard, your chipboard, anything that you have laying around to create your own book with a little hinge like this. Like I said, nothing new, but something a little bit different. You can also just use cardstock. And then that way you don't have to create a hinge. So this is black cardstock. It is 250 GSM. It's a 92-pound cardstock. So it's nice and sturdy, but it's not super, super thick. I cut these down to, I think, 5.5 by 5.5 because I only had it in 8.5 by 11 size. So let me show you another option. If all you had was cardstock and pattern paper and you didn't want to mess with using a chipboard or anything, let me ink this little edge. You could use this method. Should have inked these beforehand. Sorry, I know this is riveting. This would be the time if you wanted to put a ribbon closure on it or something that you needed to put underneath the cover that you would do that. I'm not really worried about it because this is just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this down. And then if I want to add a closure later, I can figure something else out. So I have my 5.5 by 5.5. And I cut this down to 5.25 by 5.25. Now, let me take my scoring tool. I'm going to put it at the 1-inch mark. And I'm going to score. Fold that over. You could also have put paper on the back of this as well before you scored. That's a flimsy little scoring tool, but I mean, it gets the job done. It marks it off, but anyhow. So there you go. I could have put paper on the back and covered it. So the one thing about using your cardstock to do this method is that you don't have to do it in segments. You don't have to leave this free. You're not having to cut anything here. It's just going to be a score line. So you don't have to worry about that. Let me decorate this up so you can see how cute this would be. I have been wanting to use this paper. So I've got a construction crew doing something outside. Looks like internet company, and so I'm sorry for any noise that you may hear. It's men being loud outside, right outside my window. All right, and then I cut this down to fit perfectly there. Look at that. So then you have your back side, you have your front side. It would work the same. I wouldn't use just a single sheet of paper if you're just using cardstock or pattern paper, because over time, this is really going to wear on that hinge if it's too thin. So you definitely want to make sure you've reinforced it. If you've got paper on the front and you've got paper on the back, you're golden for a while. That's not going to go anywhere. You can also use washi to reinforce. You can use washi tape all the way around it. On both sides, you can use washi on one side or the other side, however you want. Make sure that you glue it down, because washi doesn't usually stick too much, but washi would work. So that would also help kind of reinforce that bend. Something else that you can do with the cardstock, which you can do with the other as well, but it may not look as neat, is if you go in and take your back cover, another way of an alternative to this book, this little journal, and you can make this any size you want. I'm just sticking with the sizes that I've got here, is that you can hinge both pieces. Now this is your spine. This is where you're going to cut your holes. This is where you're going to add your papers in here. And you want to make sure that you always score your pages that you're putting inside as well. But look, now you've got so much room because the front and back are just going to expand. And that is going to give you so much to play with. I mean, you can open that up as wide as you want and put as many papers as you wanted in there to make a really hefty journal. Or you could put just a few and this be a simple journal. This is something that would probably be great for just grab items at a craft fair or something. And you already have all of this in your stash. It's a little bit different. You're able to add a lot of embellishments to it because you're able to decorate that spine up any way you want. Doing it this method, you could even do eyelets on those holes on the inside and outside to make covers to make them look a little bit more substantial. You can change up all your ribbons. There's just a lot you can do. You can have dangles hanging from them. You can have, long strings hanging from them, just depending on how you tie them off. So there's just so much that you can do with this. It is super simple. I hope you give it a try. Please leave comments below if you didn't understand anything that I was attempting to explain. Like I said, losing all my footage made me a little frazzled. So not the best day. Maybe I should have waited, but I had everything out and I'm already ready to move on to my next project because that's just the way I am. So again, we went from this to these. Aren't they pretty? So pretty. I absolutely love these guys. They were quick. They were easy. I think the drawing time was the hardest part of this whole thing. It's literally just hole punching. And then to make your own, you saw how quickly this came together. These are all tools that you have in your space, in your stash. I really like this. I think I'm going to continue with this and play around with it, and I'll probably just do a flip through it some other time. I was wanting to use this paper. This paper is the scrapbook.com Willow Lane paper, and I absolutely love it. I don't really love all their papers, but I got this recently, and I think it is, look at those guys. I think it is absolutely adorable. So, and I'm liking the look of this. So I may continue that and just do a flip through later to see what it looks like with both of those hinged front and back. So anyhow, that is it for me. If you want some, goodness, it is loud in here. It's busy today at my house. So if you're wanting some additional instructions, or you want some information on any of the products I used, if you want to know how I made any of that ephemera, I can do that again. Just put it down in the comments, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. I hope that you did learn something and you're encouraged to at least pull out some of your stuff and play around a little bit and really kind of make it your own. I think that these are super cute, and I think they would do well at like craft fairs, or they're just really super simple gifts to throw together and to give to someone, and they're so pretty. Anyhow, I'm rambling now. I need to drink the rest of my coffee and then just have a sit down. So until next time, bye.